I am Dante Pettis, and you are watching Time to Football.
Time now for a fantasy football must-starts and must-sits for Week 4. With quarterbacks, the must-starts: Gardner Minshew, Jared Goff, Ryan Fitzpatrick, Matthew Stafford, and Baker Mayfield. And our sleeper of the week, Joe Burrow. Burrow has been very reliable the last couple games, throwing for at least 300 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 0 interceptions in both games. This week, he faces a Jacksonville defense that has allowed 7 passing touchdowns and an average of 25 fantasy points to quarterbacks the last 2 weeks. The must-sits: Nick Foles, Phillip Rivers, Teddy Bridgewater, Ryan Tannehill, and Justin Herbert. And our bust of the week, Carson Wentz. Oh man. Wentz finally put together a good performance last week, but the injuries to his receivers continue to pile up. Jalen Reagor, Dallas Goedert, Deshaun Jackson, Alshon Jeffrey. That leaves Zach Ertz and Greg Ward as his top 2 options. The 49ers have not allowed a quarterback to throw for more than 230 yards this season. Running backs, the must-starts: James Robinson, Jonathan Taylor, Mike Davis, Kenyon Drake, and Darrell Henderson. And our sleeper of the week, Devin Singletary. Singletary has been quietly averaging 4.9 yards a carry. Even if Zach Moss gets healthy, Singletary has been productive enough to be considered a safe flex play. The Raiders just gave up 31 fantasy points to pass-catching running back Rex Burkhead, so Singletary is a must-start. The must-sits: Ronald Jones, Devontae Freeman, Mark Ingram, Adrian Peterson, and Antonio Gibson. And our bust of the week, David Montgomery. The volume should be there with Tariq Cohen hurt, but the matchups Montgomery had the past 3 weeks should have made him a top 15 running back this season. Instead, he's barely in the top 25, and now he has a tough matchup against a good Colts defense. Wide receivers, the must-starts: Keelan Cole, Devontae Parker, Brandon Cooks, DK Metcalf, and Odell Beckham Jr. And our sleeper of the week, Robbie Anderson. Anderson simmered down a bit last week after his hot start, but he's still a trusted target for Teddy Bridgewater. Anderson has produced in games even when the matchup isn't the greatest. He's averaging 7 receptions and 8 targets a game in 2020. The must-sits: Anthony Miller, Greg Ward, Julian Edelman, T. Higgins, and Mike Williams. And our bust of the week, T.Y. Hilton. Let's pause on the T.Y. Hilton experiment until further notice. I wouldn't drop him, but he's not going into my starting lineup until we can trust him yet again. He's now facing a Bears defense that hasn't allowed a starting wide receiver to snag more than 5 receptions this season. Tight ends, the must-starts: Darren Waller, Evan Ingram, Dalton Schultz, Jonnu Smith, and Mark Andrews. And our sleeper of the week, TJ Hawkinson. In deeper leagues, Hawkinson has been pretty consistent, bringing in at least 4 receptions and 53 yards every game. With a safe floor, he now goes into this matchup with a lot of upside. The Saints have given up 4 touchdowns in the last 3 games to tight ends. The must-sits: Jimmy Graham, Hayden Hurst, Jack Doyle, Rob Gronkowski, and Jared Cook. In our bust of the week, Tyler Higbee. The matchup may sound attractive, but you probably didn't know that New York hasn't allowed a tight end to put up over 49 receiving yards or a single touchdown. Given that Higbee's fantasy value is touchdown dependent, he's hard to trust this week. Kickers, the must-starts: Joey Sly, Ryan Suckup, Kaimi Fairbairn, Dan Bailey, and Sam Sloman. And our sleeper of the week, Tyler Bass. Bass has been benefiting from being on a team with a high-powered offense. He faces a Las Vegas team this week that is ranked in the bottom 10 against kickers. The must-sits: Jason Sanders, Graham Gano, Daniel Carlson, Nick Folk, and Michael Badgley. And our bust of the week, Chris Boswell. Boswell is owned in 86% of ESPN leagues, so this may apply to a lot of you. He's been slightly above average this year, but Tennessee has allowed just 2 field goals to be converted so far this whole entire season. Defense and special teams, the must-starts: the Bills, Rams, Colts, Cardinals, and the Ravens. And our sleeper of the week, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Bucs have ended up as a great streaming option. They've recorded 11 sacks total in the last 2 games, and they now face a Chargers offense that hasn't scored more than 20 points, with Justin Herbert as their starting quarterback. The must-sits: the Browns, Patriots, Titans, Seahawks, and Washington. and our bust of the week, the Minnesota Vikings. Statistically, the Texans allowed the third most points to opposing defenses, but take into account that they faced two of the best defenses in the NFL with the Baltimore Ravens and the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Vikings defense, on the other hand, has been a disappointment and should be dropped completely. As always, be sure to like this video and leave a comment down below asking your fantasy football questions. I try my absolute best to respond to you guys, but if I can't get to you guys in time, other people will respond and help you guys out. This is going to be a whole community where we help each other out and win a fantasy football championship. And be sure to subscribe to this channel so you can stay up to date when we come up with more videos every single Tuesday. Also, be sure to hit us up on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. The username for all three is @TimeToFootball. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and best of luck in Week 4.